yeah. Random convos, we vibe. Grace too strong, we can't hide. Faith talk, life talk, worldwide. Hands up high, let it rise. Random convos, yeah. Truth in the air, everywhere. Drop your fear. Grow season, oh yeah. From pressure to purpose, from doubt into certain. God steady working, even when we hurting. No filter, authentic, real love, no gimmick. He good, organic, big do, free profit. If you believe it, say amen. If you receive it, say amen. If you're growing through the pain, amen. Again. Yeah, really right. Yeah. Random convos, we vibe. Too weekend high. Faith talk, life talk, worldwide. Hands up high, let it rise. Random convos, yeah. Truth in the air, everywhere. Drop your fear. Grow season, oh yeah. From pressure to purpose, from doubt into certain. God steady working, even when we hurting. No filter, authentic, real love, no gimmick. He good, organic, big do, free profit. If you believe it, say amen. If you receive it, say amen. If you're growing through the pain, amen. Again. Yeah. Random convos, we vibe. Grace too strong, we can't hide. Faith talk, life.
A clap. Give me a clap. Tonight is going to be brutal. The lion is already backstage. Dr. Dr. Yes, the one we call Dr. Jeff, but his name is actually Dr. Jephter. So Dr. Jeff is right, ready, and behind backstage, and is ready to unleash, right? So one thing I'm promising you guys, this night's conversation is going to be power packed. It's going to be, because I know the kind of person he is. I know his personality. I know he's a man who is passionate about growth, who is passionate about business development, business stability, who hates poverty. And icebreaker, he's a pastor, but he doesn't want to be addressed as a pastor. He prefers to be called a kingdom driver, right? So this night is going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal. So we're starting 2 minutes behind schedule. It wasn't intentional. We apologize. So in the next 5 seconds, the next voice you'll be hearing is that of Dr. Jeff, the lion himself. The lion himself. So help me welcome on stage Dr. Jephter Akaehie.
Thank you so very much. I'm so excited to be here tonight talking with you and, of course, the amazing community members. And I hope that we are going to be having super value tonight. Lives will be transformed, businesses will be revamped, mindsets will be reshaped, families will receive direction and clarity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. First off, I sincerely appreciate. It's a privilege to have you I know how busy you are. I don't know what part of the world that you are today. I know how your schedules can be. Thank you so much for
I
granting
appreciate
us this privilege and this honor to be on this platform. We don't take it for granted. Thank you so much, sir.
I appreciate you deeply.
So, sir, one of the reasons why I wanted you to come here is you have a way of making people to get angry and then start thinking differently. So, those are the conversations I want us to have this night. Someone who is passionate about young people and how they should think. So that's why one of the reasons out of the many things why I asked or I reached out for you to be here. So, sir, I would want to start as a man, as a family man, a father, a husband, a pastor, and a businessman. I usually ask a random question before we officially begin. So I want to ask, sir, what were you doing 1 hour before you came up live to this section?
Okay. Uh, 1 hour before I came back to the house about that 1 hour. Yeah, I had just finished a family retreat, a family meeting with some of my siblings. Drove back to the house, so I was just resting, and I was reminded that by 10 p.m. I have to be on a program, right? So 10 minutes, I began to ask myself again, we are 10 minutes to the program. Am I really sure I am absolutely set to bust the minds of the people that I'm going to be privileged to invest into their time within the next few hours or a few minutes that we're going to be talking to uh, each and every one listening to us? The reason I thought that way is that you can lose your money and you get it back. You can lose your car and you buy another one. But when you spend your time, you have spent your life and you can never get it back. Yeah.
So, sir, you've satisfied my curiosity in the sense that you're a man who is conscious of his time. So I usually want to know what our guests were doing 1 hour before this section. So that's the major reason why I just asked those random questions.
I see.
So, sir, looking at your profile, because I had to do a lot of research in as much as I follow you before now, but I needed to go back and
Mm-hmm.
watch some of those videos where you were having conversations, sorry, not conversations now, factory work with those
Oh,
Chinese people,
okay.
and they were teaching you, showing you some things. And trying to match that with your profile, one thing stood out for me where you said in your profile read that you grew 100,000 to multi-millions in 4 years. So I am curious that I want you to take me back to that moment where you had 100,000 and then you decided to start. So I want to know, what was your life looking like at that point? And was that decision brave or was it desperate?
Okay. First of all, this was around 2013, 2014, right? And before that time, I had made my first million, my second million, and all of that. But there's a book that says what got you here won't take you there. The knowledge you need to make money is different from the knowledge you need to keep money or to multiply money. So after I had made those money, I lost them on the streets as well, right? So in between, I began to, because I had to take like 2 years of break to retrospect, ask God for the next direction, and all of that. Mind you, 100,000 as at that time is not still a small money, right? Because the value of dollars at that time, I think, was about either 200 naira or thereabout to $1, right? So thought about what I could do, and then production was the next thing, right? So, but I didn't have all the millions to go into full blown production. So started from a very humble beginning, from a one room space, right? And then just all by myself, we started, some research work, and then came up with some kind of products, and then we launched it, and then within a month, 2 months, the demand, we couldn't meet up with the demands actually. Moved from that one single room to a 3 bedrooms, self compound, and then in the next 1 year, we moved to a 3 plots of land where we built our factory in Onisha Road today. And building wealth requires a lot of discipline. You have to also develop the act of delayed gratification, right? Because once the money begins to come in, you'll be tempted to buy yourself a car at that point. You'll be tempted to buy an iPhone for yourself. You'll be tempted to start traveling. You'll be tempted to show off, get some good perfumes, change your wardrobe, a whole lot of that, right? So I had to just step down. I had to just zero my mind on every of those kind of stuff. I realized that every business is like a child. You need patience while that child is suckling breast, while that child is dependent on you to bath, to eat, to walk, to change the diapers, and all of. A time would come when that child becomes self-sufficient and become independent, right? And I would like to say that that is the same thing that happens in growing a business. At a point, the business that depends so much on you, at some point will grow to the point of becoming also independent, to the point that it can now conveniently take care of you without you running into a huge loss and all that. Yeah.
So, sir, will you say, I know, of course, for me, I know the answer, but I just want to be sure. Would you say
Mm-hmm.
that looking back, okay, looking back to that decision you made, would you say that there has been any form of regret?
I wish I did it earlier. I wish I took that bold step earlier. All right. Yeah, because from the 16th year of my life, uh, that was the year I received Christ. So it was a turning point for me. That was the year I made up my mind to become a job creator. That was the year I decided that I was not going to look for job, but I will create enough jobs for people. That was the year I told myself that if Christ is in me and I'm a co-creator, that I don't need to look out for finished products, that I need to start creating just as God creates. Right. So I wished I made that decision earlier. That's the only thing I can say. Yeah, I can hear you.
The okay, so sir,
Okay.
now you mentioned that the first factory that you built is, for people who are not in Owerri, is in Onitsha Road in Imo State.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to, and then Personal
So
reaction.
I think I lost you at some point. Just at the
Okay,
point where you said some people are not in a way.
okay. So some people who are not in Owerri, the place the first factory was built is in Imo State. That's Onitsha Road.
Mm-hmm.
So at what was the reaction like? Both personal reaction for you and then the market reaction when you took your first product that was produced by Afroganics, when you took it to the market, what was the reaction like? So the way you're smiling.
Okay. That's a very wonderful question from you tonight. Um, I still have the number of my very first customer.
Wow.
One of our creativity meetings, I showed while I was talking to some of our staff members. I showed them. I said, I still remember her name. I still remember her state. I still remember her case. Right? You know, we deal on fertility issues. So I pulled up my phone and I showed them. I said, look at the number. I can still call her now, right? And that woman, she is, I wouldn't mention her name, but she is in Uyo, and she saw our product because first of all we launched online, and then we advertised. She saw our products, contacted us, shared her reports with us. After evaluation, we placed her on a treatment for 90 days, and her case was a case of amenorrhea. So for about 6 months to 1 year, she had not seen her period naturally. She had not menstruated, and in fact, she had gone to so many, hospitals and all that before she, heard about us. And mind you, that was our first time of advertising. We had done our researches, but now this one is market experience. And so we
Hmm.
told her what she was going to use, and she was like, "Are you sure it's going to work? Okay, let me start with one." Yeah, normal people would have those buyers and all that. Who do you know that has used this product? What would you say, right? So she was supposed to, because she asked us from what time to what time am I supposed to start seeing results. Usually, because of biological reasons around reproductive health, from 30 days, someone who has not menstruated for 6 months started the product, and in less than 7 days, she started menstruating.
Wow.
And it looks like that woman that met Jesus at the well, that now went to the city and now said, I have seen a prophet. In fact, I have seen the
Yeah.
Messiah.
Yeah.
Right. So that woman announced us. She started, started giving out our contacts to people just like that. And within few months, the woman got pregnant. And boom, that was how we launched out. So it was a very easy ride. About up to the point where we now started thinking about scaling what we were doing, what we started. Of course, we cannot continue to be selling to end users. We needed to find a way to get into the pharmacy stores. We needed to, strike a deal with clinicians and all of that. That became another issue. So, how are we going to do that? I'm not a pharmacist. We needed to have the backing of the Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria. We needed to have backing of clinicians in Nigeria. So that's actually took us, to have a proper strategy section on how to, break into that industry. So you go into a pharmacy store and you want to detail them, okay, we have this product that does this, that does that. They ask you for your clinical evidence. They ask you questions. You answer and answer and answer. Okay, give us two, give us three. Let's see how it goes. After 1 year, they will return it to us. It has expired, it's not moving. Right? So not because it wasn't working, but because one, we were still learning the curves, we were still learning the industry, right? So we came up with another strategy of creating demands. So every pharmacy will drop the products, will create a demand around them. We're sending traffics there. People who make inquiries around those areas will direct to them. We were also sending people on our own to go and disturb them and say, I need this product, right? So by the time they disturb you 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, even if you have not stopped with us, you will say it's like this product is moving now. Where are the number of those people that say they started calling us? So those people who rejected us eventually started accepting us because of some of those, strategies that we put out, you know.
Kai, Kai, Kai. God. Okay, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to take you to one of your biggest strengths. The
Okay.
first day I heard you talk, my body was vibrating. It's my body was vibrating in for two reasons. One, everything you said validates everything I believed and everything I teach.
Well,
Two, I just saw someone who was also echoing the voice of my spiritual father. So it's just like, okay, a second prophet was now sent and was now talking to me, and that was the aspect of people breaking out from the mediocre mindset.
mm,
So, sir, I want to ask a question. You are very passionate about positioning Africa as a global hub for manufacturing excellence. What is that thing, or what are those things that you think should die in Africans' current culture and systems before that vision can actually live?
okay. Thank you very much. I would, as much as possible, avoid talking about our leaders, our politicians. So I'm going to address Africans. There's a spirit I call the spirit of Esau, and the spirit of Esau is one thing that I have seen predominant in Africa. I will explain what the spirit of Esau is all about. The spirit of Esau is the spirit of being in a haste and not willing to process whatever thing that we have. We don't want to process our meat, we want to sell it that way, right? And that is why in Africa, we have so much resources in Africa, but yet we are poor because every resource, like you have crude oil. Inside of crude oil, you have petrol, you have kerosene, you have gas, you have even fertilizer, you have so many more than 6 7 resources inside one. So but in Africa we bring our crude oil and sell it as one product and sell it as peanut and move it to the Europeans, the Americans, and to other people. They process it and bring out 3 value chains, or no, seven, close to 7 value chains, and sell
Yeah.
7 value chains back to us at different amounts. So this is the singular reason why Africa remains where we are. So I haven't done those studies. I told myself, see, I cannot join the bandwagon. I cannot. You see, my mentor, Anthony Robbins, I encountered Anthony Robbins in 2008 through a man called Philadro Toye that I also follow. Now, Anthony Robbins said something that shifted my philosophies about business. He said, people who are who have resources most of the times still remain poor because they are not resourceful enough. So having resources is not enough to escape poverty. It is until you have resources and you are resourceful enough that you can be able to create value chains that will help you to become financially or free at the end of the day. So, and I like to put it this way, that the man who has resources but is not resourceful will be at the mercy of the man who is resourceful. So now this is what happens.
Yes.
In Africa, we have resources, but we are not resourceful. So those who are resourceful, they will price our resources any amount they want. So because we are not resourceful, but we have resources, we will just accept whatever offer they make to us. So let me break it down now. If you go and hunt for bushmeat, for instance, and you get your bushmeat, however you kill it, I don't care, but you have bushmeat, and then you bring your bushmeat and stay on the road, like, and you know the way they put bushmeat like this on the road,
Yes, sir.
and then you put your price tag at 3,000 naira, for instance. By 9 a.m., 3,000. By 3 p.m., the price will drop to 2,500. By 5 p.m., the price can even sell as low as 1,500 or even 1,000. Because that blood inside that animal, if you leave it, it will be the same. You getting it? Now, get this. Because they are not resourceful, they don't see um they don't see pepper soup inside that thing they are carrying. They are not seeing even suya. They are not seeing any other. They are just carrying that thing there. And so the man who is resourceful, who knows the value of that thing, some people just stay by the side and be targeting you and just be waiting for evening time when you will not have any other option. So any amount they price you at that point, you will sell it. Inside that thing, when somebody who is resourceful gets it, they will go and process it. They can even roast that same meat and it will last for 1 year. That same meat, when you dry it very well, that same meat somebody hastily sold for 1,000, you can prepare it in a way that it will last for 1 year. And you can choose to sell it at any amount you wish to. You will not be in a hurry because you have processed it. So this is what is happening to us in Africa. And that is why men like Dangote, he is being fought, because there are a lot of people there are a lot of myopic, we have more myopic people than people who are enlightened. No matter how the temptation of importation of finished products is, no matter how fast the money is, it does not entice me. Because I know that after you have sold that product, if you want another one, you will send all the money back to its source, which is China, to get another one. And Africa cannot grow when the resources created in Africa does not stay in Africa.
Spirit of Esau, Spirit Jesus. Hey, I've heard something today that the man doesn't know that there are other possibilities around that bushmeat.
Absolutely.
Hi, Jesus. Hey, so sir, I have I we promised ourselves that we won't be keeping our guests for too long, especially when our guest today, Dr. Jeff, is also a pastor, and tomorrow is Sunday. So please, sir, I want to ask this question, and I'm pouring these questions because of the passion you have for this same subject.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask, why do you think so many Africans, even the educated ones, in bracket, those who went to school, even professionals, career people, why do you think they still think like people, even like poor people, money starts to?
Why do I think they? Can you say that again? Why do I think they what?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me,
Yeah,
sir?
I didn't hear that question very well. Say, why do I think even the educated ones? Why do I think what?
So why do you think that? Why do you think they still think poor, even when money starts to come?
Okay, it's important that you know that going to school only gives you certificate. It does not make you educated. Yeah, there are a lot of certificate carriers who are still very poor in their mindsets. Yeah. So there are two kinds of education. Academic education would help you to survive. You can be able to create money that you can feed, from hand to mouth. You can just, be satisfied with your life and all that. Now, personal education would help you to make a fortune. Is what can open your mind up to the possibilities that you cannot ever achieve within the four walls of the traditional schools, right? And for every successful, highly successful African that you come close to, you will find out. We know that Dangote went back to school later, right? So, but which professor would you match with his kind of thinking, with the kind of systems he has built around? So, how did he achieve that? Bill Gates, the same pattern. You understand? But these guys are super
Yes, sir.
smart. So, beyond the certification, there is another kind of education for the super rich, right? Which is the education that is called self growth or personal development. That's what you see behind me here, right? And if you go
Yeah.
close to any of those guys, my child walked into my home office. He saw about before this meeting, because my wife was doing a few reshuffling here. So he saw about three, four, five of my books. And he came to ask me, he said, Daddy, have you read all these books? I said, I'm reading them. He said, give me one. There's my second son. I have four sons. So he said, give me one book. I want to go and read one book. So I just looked through and I gave him one. And he kept reading that book till he slept this night. I kept it beside him. Tomorrow night he will continue. Right. So many people don't understand. If you depend only on what you learn from the school, trust me, you have only tapped in, let's say, 10% of the possibilities. You need, okay, somebody said a professor, if somebody who was given so much of a little to know, so much of a little, because that you become a professor in just one area, you will know so much thing about just one area, right? So my advice to Africans, if you want to expand your mind, one of the things you need to do, get close to people who have broken the mind limitations. Two, travel. Travel. You can travel through physical traveling, go to China, go to Korea, go to Japan, and then read their books. Look for books of great people in the industry you want to actively play in. Begin to think through the mind, begin to see things from their mindset and the lenses of their eyes. I consume a lot of Dangote's philosophy. Everywhere I see Dangote's interview, I download it, I sit down and I'm watching this man, I'm hearing him, I'm trying to understand this. why he thinks the way he thinks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm asking myself, am I getting ready to do this same thing? Because I want to be the next Dangote from the Southeast. You understand? So that's all I can say on that.
Hey, so let me just take 1 minute to allow this go down. Okay, so sir, from what you just said now, perfect example, Dangote. In fact, today, I think between yesterday and today, the highest trend has been that Elon Musk is now the first official trillionaire.
Mm.
And I'm seeing it on a lot of Nigerians' WhatsApp status. Some people are there saying that it is possible they will get there. So long as hope is alive, they are going to get there. A lot of people are making a lot of wishes. And on the average, these people are young Nigerians. Some people, I've also had someone say that they should give him time. He's going to overtake Dangote, and I smiled. So, sir, I want to ask, what genuinely worries you when you look at the Nigerian youth today? Like, what actually disappoints you towards them? What actually keeps you up at night about this generation that is coming behind you?
Okay. We, including my current generation and the ones coming behind us, we are screwed. We are cooked. We don't know what is happening. You see,
Hi.
um, before God opened my eyes, I took 2 years off social media, 2 years off friends. I cut myself off completely from every form of distractions. And I concentrated my attention on prayer, reading both the word and the personal development books. Now, I started by saying that your time is equivalent to your life.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
spending a part of my life here talking to you. After this interview, I will never get it back. Right? So the social media is taking a large chunk of our lives. If you calculate the number of hours you spend on social media, multiply it by the number of years you are going to be on social media, and then subtract it from the number of life years you will live on earth, you will know how many years social media takes out from you. That's a very
Hmm.
unfair deal, right? And I always say, I learned this at 16, that those who create the distractions that distract others, if they were distracted by other people, they would not have been able to create those distractions. And so, if you want to, business is all about attention. They say the new economy is attention. So, if people have your attention, you will not be able to create attention to get other people's attention. That's just it, right? A few days ago, when I was teaching my children about how to micromanage their time around TV, I told them something. I said, when you go to the market to buy a good, they are going to ask you to pay, right? They said
Yes, sir.
yes. I say, what are you going to pay? They say you pay money. And when you pay money, they give you the good that you have bought. They said yes. I say, when you go to school, what do they ask you to pay? They say you pay attention. I said, now it is still something that you are parting with,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes.
You are not paying them money now, but there is a fee that you are going to pay. You are not seeing it, but as you are focusing on your teacher, you are paying them attention. It is also a currency. So when you spend your time on social media, when you spend your time on frivolities, you are also paying attention. You are paying a part of, you are paying something that you can never get back, because attention is a currency that is backed up by time, and your time is equal to your life. So I am really, really concerned for the generation I am in, as well as the generation coming before, behind us. Now, let me say this: hope is not a strategy. Somebody saying, as long as time is this, I will overtake Dangote. With what strategy? Wishes are not horses. It's not going to work. Now, there are
Hi.
people who have wished much more than you. They have written it everywhere in their house. They have proclaimed it. I
Yeah.
will be richer than Bill Gates. I'll be richer than Elon Musk. I will be richer. Dangote did not become the richest African by wishes. It is by strategy, by building systems, and by taking actions, corresponding actions, right? So,
Yes. Hi. Hope is not a strategy. God. God. Hey. So, sir, in a quick way, what do you have to say, or what's your contribution? What's your view about the impact of social media in this current generation? What's your view about it? Because you said it
okay,
took 2 years. Two
yeah,
years. So
yeah,
it actually took 2 years for God to open your eyes
yeah.
off friends, off
Some
social
people can
media.
happen for them in 1 month. Some people can happen for them in 1 year, but mine took me 2 whole years for me to really understand what the problem was. Because before that time, I had tried so many businesses, and it didn't work out. Did everything I knew that was strategy, it didn't work out. Sold some properties, pumped in, it sank. I knew something was wrong. I just went back. I said, Lord, you have to show me how to make this thing happen. Right. So, and you know how the scripture puts it. God speaks, his voice is called the still silent voice. And so if you
Yes,
have
sir.
a lot of noise around you, ultimately you cannot hear directions. If Deuteronomy 8:16 says, you shall remember the Lord your God, for he's the one that gives you the power to make wealth. He will not come and make you gym for you to make wealth. If we're talking about power, it's not physical power. It is mental power. It is the ones that we cannot see. Hebrews 11 says, for we understand that the things seen we are created by the things not seen. So the power
Yes,
that
sir.
God gives us to be able to create wealth is the power that cannot be seen. But at the end of it, when it is utilized, we'll now be able to create the things that can be seen. Right? So what's that your question again? What do I have to say about social media? It's a
Yes, sir.
distraction. But you see, it's just like when somebody says, is sex good or sex bad? Sex is good for the married. When you use it right, it is good. If you are not married, or you are married and you have sex with somebody who is not your wife, it becomes a problem. So for me, my advice, if you are going to be on social media, don't go there to catch cruise. Don't be a consumer. There are two sides of social media. There is the consumption side, and then there is the other side of it, which is where people are cashing out. Everybody must not be a content creator. I'm not a content creator, but am I making money from social media? Absolutely, I am. Right? So I'm taking advantage of the community that exists on social media. I leverage on it, I advertise, I push my adverts to them, and then they see the products. Of course, that's what they need. I make money from them. So I made up my mind never to be a consumer of social media.
Hey, so there's too much at stake. Oh. God, there's too much at stake. So, sir, I think Because of time, let me try to make this my last question because there's also a section where you get to advise young people who are also trying to do what you are doing and then who are trying to venture into other aspects of business. So I there was an issue that happened on social media. I'm going to use some parables around it,
Okay.
and I just trust you understand where I'm going to. So something happened where somebody came online, and anyways, that's his lifestyle. So he's always making it look like poor people don't matter. The people that matter are the people that owns and have G wagons, Rolls Royce, Lamborghinis, and the rest. So he will tell you to make money, you just go and fetch water.
I
So
get you.
and thank you, sir. So, and a lot of that thing is gradually forming this kind of. I've been in environments where people are just busy, their discussion is on this matter, and they are not making a headway. So, these people are just busy forming a mindset that doesn't work. They make it look like is success is water now. So I want you to address this. I know you've addressed a part of this social media, but I just want you to give it to us in details. How much damage has this lie of social media making successful people's life look easy? How much damage has it done? And to what extent? And who is responsible for correcting it?
Well, you and I hope that's why we are here. We want to see how we can contribute our own quota on reforming the minds of the social media community and help our young folks. Um, well, the truth is that you cannot stop bad completely until God's kingdom comes. Hmm? It is people's responsibility to speak, and it is our responsibility to either accept it or not. There are people who have been speaking the right things, they have not been hearing. But you see how bad negativity can be. One negativity spoken can overtake 20 or 30 truths that have been spoken. Just like a weed does not need you to weed it for you to survive. But when you plant a good plant, you have to keep weeding it for you to survive. You see that a weed does not need to be you don't need to weed it. A weed that finds itself in the midst of a good plant will kill it. It will choke the real plant and
Yes,
it will die.
yes, sir.
So our churches will have a role to play. Our pastors will have a role to play. People are always in church. Every of those people who heard those things, including the one that those places you have found yourself, they all have pastors. They all have
Yeah.
parents. They all go to school one way or the other. So, but fundamentally, as a pastor and as an entrepreneur, I know that we have our own role to play because everywhere I go to speak, I go to teach, I go to preach, I make people understand the fundamental of wealth creation. Even the people who are telling you that money na water, for instance, I know more than five of his businesses. I know more than five of his businesses that are riding on the normal processes of wealth creation.
Mm.
Yes. So somebody else will just come and pick that line, and then he's looking for how to, deceive somebody, defraud somebody, and all that, pick money on the street and all that. But the person who said that thing, he owns a hotel, he owns a restaurant, he owns a club, he owns real estate companies. You
Yes,
understand?
sir.
All of
Yes.
these things, I don't support the idea of club, but it's a business model. You understand it? So he is not going to go and kidnap you to make money. He is not going to carry guns and all that. So our young people just need to calm down. They need to calm down, right? They need to calm down. Now, for him, uh, he is into lifestyle. He needs all of those show. He needs all of those attention to sell what he. For me, is his business strategy. The more he does it, the more he sells. People know about him, talk about. If people don't talk about you, if you're in lifestyle industry, you won't go far, right? So he's just using that to not just cash cruise. He's also using it to sell his brand and all of that. So let's not be deceived. If you want to go far as a young person, you see, let me tell you one thing I've seen in Africa. You're going to see a poor man flying on business class, flying on first class, but he has nothing to show for. He will use his last
Yeah.
card, even in
Yes,
that
sir.
first class, because poverty, uh, poverty lives in good places. Poverty drives big cars. Poverty applies good perfumes. So, but because it's systemic, it's inside of you. Even when you find yourself in first class, you cannot still relate with those who are genuinely in first class. There is
Hi.
still going to be a mental limitation with you.
Yeah.
And even if
Yeah.
when you want to break forth and say, let me even engage this person, right? I'm in the same class with him. When they talk with you within 10 seconds, they will know that you are not in their class.
Hi.
They will suddenly shut up. About 8 years ago, I was on a business class and I missed my flight. That was my business was still growing, right? So I'm not a fan of business class and all that. Once it happens that not that I can't afford it, but I uh, maybe I have something to do with P2B's mindset, right? So So I missed my flight and I was supposed to be in Owerri. I was in Lagos. So I said, no, 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 no. I can't afford to stay back. I had to get another. So the only seat available was a business class. So I got the business class. I was in there. And then of course, my habit, I had started reading and I was on the aisle. And then suddenly the next passenger that was supposed to be on the window side came, and lo and behold, he was a popular celebrity in Nigeria. Unfortunately, I didn't know him, or very popular. Very, very, when I name popular, if I mention his name, you know. So when he came, he said, sorry, Sakana. I stood up for him. I don't even look his face. And he entered. When he entered, I start back, fastened my seatbelt, opened my book, and started reading again. And the young man was so uncomfortable. He was like, who is this guy that just snubbed me like this? That I need to know
Mm.
this guy. So he was now compelled to start talking with me, was now trying to, when I looked at his face, my mind told me, this guy looks like a celebrity. I say, Sha, that's his business. I'm a celebrity too, you know. And when he introduced himself, lo and behold, I was shocked. I said, Jesus, in my mind, I'm like, okay. I said, I just maintained myself, the way they put it, my steel. And
Yes.
then as at that time, I was building a business, a blog, was supposed to be on TV, on CNN, and So I shared the idea with him. I said, having told me some of the things that you're planning, we'll be glad to feature you on our program. So the guy was so excited. He was the one who asked me for my card. He was the one who got my number and all of that. But I digressed a little bit. But the point I'm trying to make is our young people, instead of thinking about, of course, I follow Dr. Gochukwu Omog, and one of the things I learned from him, he said, any problem that cannot wait for your money to multiply is not meant for you to be solved, right? So
Mm.
So instead of our young people to be thinking about how, because every money that enters your hand is a seed, and every seed must be multiplied. So instead of them to think about how they can multiply the money that comes into their hand, they are thinking about the next iPhone, iPhone 17 Pro Max. They are thinking about the next car, the next Mercedes to buy. They are thinking about the next hotel to travel, the next country to tax. Okay? You are only setting yourself up for the senior brother of poverty called penury. Yeah. So I don't know when they will learn. Yeah.
Oh God. Dr. James, sir,
Mm.
I'll be in your DM this night. I'll be in your DM this night. You are auto talking to me. I just need to go and work on myself again. You are talking to me, sir. So, sir,
Mm.
what advice do you have for this young generation? One advice you do you have for this young generation?
Oh God, you've made it a little bit tough. One advice is just like asking what is the one way to succeed in life. Okay. The foundation of life, the foundation of success, the foundation of breakthrough is God. When you find God as a young person, as an old person, if you have derailed, you have wasted your life. If you genuinely find God, I'm not saying just know, hear about God. If you genuinely find God, what that means is that you will find God and God will find you. You
Yeah.
identify with God and God will identify with you. You are settled for life. That will push you to knowing, and knowing will push you to finding, and finding will push you to having. Right? Scripture says, my people perish for lack of knowledge, not because of the president of your country, not because of the problem of the continent. It is a lack of knowledge, both the knowledge of God, the knowledge of his ways, and every other kind of knowledge. Anywhere you are struggling with is traceable to a deficiency of knowledge. That's my summary.
God. Sir, I'm going to take my time. This is almost 1 hour. I'm going to take my time and listen to this section again because there are things that I just heard for the first time. I felt I've heard it. So I need to listen to them again and internalize it. Sir, we want to deeply say thank you.
Celebrate
Thank
you.
you. Please pardon the Nigeria is having its fair share on us. Please pardon our ambience. It's
Well,
usually not
okay.
like this.
We understand.
We are sorry. Sorry. But say thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having me
Thank
too.
you. Thank you for this privilege. We don't take it for granted. Thank you for this
Appreciate you
privilege.
for having me.
And one thing I'll promise you, this is me. Oh, I don't know of others. Anybody who wants to make that promise should come to the comment section. That your investment, your 1 hour investment, because you started by saying that time is the value of a man. Any time lost, whether it was invested right or invested wrongly, can never be gotten back. So I want to promise you that this 1 hour that you've invested in my life, because I'm not just asking questions, I'm also learning that it will not go wasted, it will not go unrewarded. I will make you proud. I will make you proud.
Absolutely.
And I strongly believe that. So once again, I want to say thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for honoring
Thank you.
us, small us. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate. We appreciate.
Thank you for
We
having me,
appreciate.
and I hope that this becomes a great program at the end of the day that will touch lives from away to the world.
Amen. 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 I'm grateful, sir. Thank you so much,
All
sir.
right, then. Have
God
a great
bless you.
evening. Yeah, sure. Bye.
Oh, okay. Bye, sir. Wow. Ah. Oh, God in heaven, help us. I don't have so much to say, actually. Me, I want to
Really
make
right.
I have to obey my leaders. This is 11 o'clock. We are closing. Eh, see, the best thing you can do for yourself, I want you guys to see me very well. The best thing you can do for yourself is to go and listen to this section again. When I say we don't bluff here, we don't bluff here. I made a video telling you guys that you see this month is going to like random convos onwards is going to be crazy. It's going to be bangers. Please do yourself the favor of listening. Network this night was a mess, but please do yourself the favor, your destiny, most especially, do your destiny the favor of listening to this section again, and God will bless you. So we'll be unveiling our guests for the next random convos. I'm excited. We'll be unveiling our guests for the next random convos on or before Wednesday. The flyer will be out to have you prepare for it. So till will come your time next, till will come your way next time. So let me give you a proco gist. I know my people they are going to question me this night too. Let me give you a proco gist. You see July and August random convos. Just calm down. We are coming with something mind blowing. Just calm down. Calm down. Meanwhile, enjoy our team sound. Good night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Random convos, we vibe. Grace too strong, we can't hide. Faith talk, life talk, worldwide. Hands up high, let it rise. Random convos, yeah. Truth in the air, everywhere. Drop your fear. Grow season, oh yeah. From pressure to purpose, from doubt into certain. God steady working, even when we hurting. No filter, authentic, real love, no gimmick. He good, organic, big two, read profit. If you believe it, say amen. If you receive it, say amen. If you're growing through the pain, amen. Again, yeah, really right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Random convos, we vibe. Grace too strong, we can't hide. Faith talk, life talk, worldwide. Hands up high, let it rise. Random convos, yeah. Truth in the air, everywhere. Drop your fear. Grow season, oh yeah. From pressure to purpose, from doubt into certain. God steady working, even when we hurting. No filter, authentic, real love.